If I lost everything in my photography career and I had to start over with only $500, this is exactly what I would do. One path is if you already have a camera, and the other path is if you don't. I'm gonna break everything down for you on what I would do. Real, raw, and unfiltered. So scenario one is you starting off with $500 and you do have a camera, right? You already have a camera, maybe you have a T7 or you have an A6000 or one of those series or a A7 III. You need to leverage what you already own and lead with content, creativity, and consistency. So content, creativity, and consistency need to be your three pillars that you're focusing on when trying to grow your business from the ground up with a camera and $500. Scenario one. So I would say for one, get you a Godox trigger, right? These can range between $45 to $60. Get you a modifier, you can use an umbrella, nice budget modifier. You can get you an umbrella, which are usually the cheaper ones, or you can get you one of those flip out, fold out soft boxes like I have. Those are also pretty cheap when starting out. You need to get you a backdrop, right? So the modifiers can go between $20 to $40. You need to get you a backdrop, right? You can get you a pop out backdrop for headshots or anything like that you can get as well. That you can do it for DIY. Get you some cloth from the store, which would be a lot cheaper, right? Or you can, get you one off Amazon, which is like 30 bucks. You need you a lighting stand and a small reflector, right? And then the biggest purchase out of this that I would say, which is gonna be probably the most vital, if you get nothing else, you need to get the 8200, right? Or get you a flash that's able to be off-camera flash. A lot of people recommend the newer brands and NEWER, those brands because they're a lot more budget, but I feel like this is what I would do, right? So I'm gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning that this is my point of view and these are the things that I would do if I were to start over my photography business with just a T7, right? If I had a T7, I have a T7i right here and a T7. If I were to start over with just a T7, and that's all I had and $500, first thing I would buy is a flash. Right? The first thing I'm buying is me an AD200. Doesn't gotta be AD200 Pro or AD200 Pro Mark II or whatever, an AD200. And you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can go to a used camera shop or anything like this to try to find one for a lower price. You can go on MPB. There's multiple different websites that are also verified through the verified sellers of these types of camera gear. And I'm gonna put links to everybody down below too for you guys to be able to check them out for yourselves. I would also say reaching out to some photographers that may already have the gear or trying to see who is maybe selling some type of gear, because if you reach out to someone that's trusted that will be selling their gear, I'm not selling any of my gear, right? It would be a lot better for you because you would trust it because it's coming from a person that you already know. So that could be kind of cool too as well, trying to like keep your eye out for people who are selling gear or trying to get rid of it, but they're probably gonna get rid of it for a lower price. And I would definitely say utilize the rest of that money. I gotta keep saying because this is what I would do, right? I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do. I'm gonna tell you guys what I would do if I were to start over. I'm gonna use the rest of that money to book some creative shoots, whether I have to book a studio that I don't have access to or get a backdrop, put it up in my living room, take some creative photos that I can, just to be able to showcase my skills, right? I would invest a lot of my free time that I don't have to spend money on YouTube University, you guys. Watching YouTube, learning lighting, learning different things like that, learning creative lighting, because these are the things that are gonna up your clientele fast to be able to double up your revenue as well, right? So this is gonna help you learn your camera a lot more through YouTube as well, and also learn how to light subjects and the distance from the background, all these different things utilizing YouTube University. I have a lot of videos on all these different things. I have over 1,000 full-length videos on YouTube right now for the free ski for you guys to watch. So just go through the plethora and just scroll and you'll find something to be able to help you on your journey, okay? And also you can join the Discord. They'll chat in there, they'll tell you, they'll help you out as well. But I also will be working on behind the scenes, right? This is what's gonna grow your business, is getting you behind the scenes, getting client reactions, different stuff like that on these free shoots, right? Being that you're doing a free photo shoot, I would not market it as free photo shoot, I would market it as a portfolio building experience. If you market it as a free photo shoot, then you devalue yourself and you make them look at you already out of the gate of starting a new photography page, Instagram, website, or whatever as the budget photographer or the cheap photographer or the free photographer. So now everybody's coming to you because you're free, right? So you want to kind of have a close-knit circle of the people that you're going to be utilizing as your portfolio building experiences. So I would never post the word free. You don't want the word free attached to your name. You would say special or portfolio building or new drop or whatever you would want to say to make it seem like it's a very exclusive thing that you're going to be doing. Every shoot that I do, I would record behind the scenes. I would take some of the money from the budget to get me a POV mount, just like the one right here that goes on your neck for you to be able to put your phone on there and get a lot of behind the scenes point of view. You don't need a cameraman. You don't need anybody to record for you. You don't need any of that. You can literally get all this stuff yourself. You can sit your phone up on a lighting stand and maybe get you a tripod as well if you want to get some distance shots, but you really don't even need that. You can get you a $20 neck POV mount from Amazon for you to be able to utilize and get all of your content easily. Or you can even get you a magic arm and put it on your camera to get that too. But I would say neck mount first because there's no hassle. You don't got to balance anything. It doesn't waste any time. You just put that thing on your neck, you strap your camera up, and you're ready to go. I'm going to show you guys an example of this without just saying it and not showing you. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen it on my page, but I literally snap it on just like this. It might mess with the mic a little bit, so bear with me. And I can snap my phone on, and I'm ready to get my content. I can get my POV mouse. It's not in my way or anything like that. It's perfect for me to get my shots, and you can morph this to your neck. So when this is on your neck, you can literally bend it to fit to your neck and however you want it for it to be comfortable for you, right? So I definitely would recommend you getting a POV mount because this thing has leveled up my content so much. It's taken the extra effort out of creating content and made it so much easier for me to, you know, get that behind the scenes feel. My clients look at it, they don't really care, they don't see it, but I do get those reactions. That's the most important thing, is the reactions. When you're trying to run ads or trying to build up your clientele, whether you're running paid ads or organic ads, I go the way of organic ads, creating advertisements as if you're going to pay for them, but allowing them to touch all of the people on Instagram and everything organically to grow and really, like, you know, touch them and make them feel something. So how can you make the people that are viewing your advertisements or your promos that you're not putting money behind, right? Your promos, your organic promos feel something. How can you make them feel something, right? And the best way to do that is reactions, right? Reactions behind the scenes. Being able to show the experience that you're giving your clientele is going to be able to help the people so much more to want to book you and want to actually trust you, because it will be transferred trust. If you're taking photos of these people for quote unquote free, which is a portfolio building experience, then everybody that's going to be watching, you're going to be able to get content out of these people that you're doing these free shoots for. So you want to be able to maximize everything in your power to be able to get the most out of these free shoots, right? So it's going to be able to build your portfolio, build your content, build your Instagram, build everything. You want to focus on all of this when you're doing this shoot. Another thing that I can say that I would do personally is I would post consistently, right? For at least a month straight. I'm posting consistently every single day, throwing things at the wall just to see what sticks. Post consistently on Instagram, just throw things out there. Post client reactions, whether it's 5, 10 second clips, 15 second, 30. Don't go over 30 for your first month of posting. Just post, and just see what does good. Attach different visuals to different trending audios and different stuff like this. Like, figure out how to find out what trending audios are and then attach yourself to those audios. Put a quote over it, anything like that. POV, you just found your favorite photographer in Georgia, or whatever it is. Just push those things, right? Types of content you can create, right? TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Instagram Reels, I feel like, is what you need to push on first because it's going to be the easiest for you to do. It's going to be direct to consumer. For those Instagram Reels, you can utilize, you know, the Instagram Edits app to edit your Reels, and you can also view your analytics. I have videos on that as well for you guys to be able to check out. You can do videos on your lighting setup, just showing how you set up lighting, because when you initiate yourself as an authority in the photography space or in that field, your clients are going to look at you like, oh my God, I got to go to them because they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They're setting this light up, they're saying this and that, they know what they're doing. So now your clients see you as an authority, right? Showing your editing process, showing your client testimonials. This is a really big one, especially if you're doing these free shoots for these clients. You want to be able to get testimonials out of the people that are doing free shoots. No one else has to know that the shoot's free. Do the shoot for them and get them. Just don't let them be a relative, all right? Relatives or don't do your, you can shoot your relative to you know what I'm saying, to use, but don't use your relative as a testimonial. Like, you could do it, but like, if people know it's your relative, it ain't gonna really, it might not work that much and it might not look good on you. I wouldn't use a relative. That's me. I'm telling y'all my point of view and what I would do. All right, if I was growing my photography business again from $500. All right, so I would do client testimonials and I would save everything. I'm gonna get me a hard drive with this same amount. I'm gonna get like $100 hard drive just to be able to save this stuff, unless I have cloud storage or if you have whatever on your phone. Save all these testimonials because you will use them forever. Me personally, I don't delete anything. So all my testimonials that I've ever had when I first started, I still have all of them to be able to use and just build up, right? And while you're growing during this time, it is very vital for you to keep your face clean, all right? As a photographer, male, female, whatever, it is important for you to keep your face clean, right? You need to attach your face with all good things, right? Don't be around people who got BS going on and all this different type of stuff, because right now you're building, you're in a building phase. You need to keep your face clean, all right? Your name and your face card needs to be Gator. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but that's Florida slang for your face need to be A1. You need to have no dirt or nothing attached to your face. So when BS is going on, you need to be going the other way because you're building a brand right now. You are a business. Your face, your image, your likeliness, your page, you are building a business, so treat it as such. This is me talking to past me, by the way. So our goal here is to overall make our work discoverable organically, right? And not trying to make, not paying to play. We're not paying to play right now. We don't got no money to pay to play. Right now, we're trying to get discovered organically. So we're gonna search, we're gonna see what works, and we're gonna see how we can make it work for us. What's working for other businesses, and how can we figure out how to make that work for us? If somebody used a trending sound talking about their food, how can I make a trending sound talking about my photography? How can I show off my work? How can I find out what's trending right now to be able to create an idea for me to be able to talk about my work and make it fit towards my photography business, okay? So I got more videos on that as well for you guys to check out, and I'm talking about growing on Instagram too. So I'll make more videos on that if you guys want, let me know down below. But now we're gonna go into scenario 2. Scenario 2 is if you started with $500 and you have no camera. This is what I would do for scenario 2. If I started photography, my photography business over completely with no camera and all I had was $500 from Christmas. Or $500 that I was grinding up. Well, now we're gonna go into scenario 2.
What is happening, people? Frank here from Inside the Garage. On this edition, we're covering how to handle those squeaky brakes. So whether you're trying to do your own brakes, or the fact is maybe you went to the dealer, a brake squeak is extremely frustrating. And today's show, we're going to slow it down. I'm going to show you the top tip. This is the real, the raw on brake tips. Brake pads, that's a big problem. A lot of you guys are putting brake pads on your vehicle and you're getting this part wrong. So let's head over to the bench and talk about the various quality of brake pads. Ceramic, semi-metallic, and the Dinosaur organic. You guys have heard about it, the cheap brake pads. You've been preached to. In fact, you probably said, why are they preaching? There is a $9, $10, $11 brake pad. You're gonna pay for what you get. Now, what does that all mean? Well, these old school organic pads, they're available and you will have braking. However, these guys will squeak for one very good reason. And this is the biggest tip I can give you. If you're gonna buy a cheap brake pad, the difference is all to do with these corners here on the edge of the actual lining. Now that edge is really important for one big reason. You guys know brake dust. Brake dust can cause squeaks, especially with these guys, with these 90-degree angles that brake dust is actually going between the pad and the rotor. When you get the premium style brake pads, you're gonna have the beveled edge. That beveled edge is gonna allow that brake dust to go right through the wheels. The next thing is going from organic to semi-metallic. Semi-metallic pads, not a bad brake pad, they're a softer pad. Now don't get complicated, let's keep it simplified. Semi-metallic pads have more metal, iron, copper, all the metals in this pad to help with braking and also dealing with heat. You gotta realize that heat is the enemy to the brake system. Braking is all about how well we stop in relationship to heat, and that's the game changer, is the heat. The better quality that you get into, the better you're going to handle the heat, which can cause all kinds of problems, including brake squeak. The next brake pad is your ceramic pads. Ceramic pads are relatively new to the industry in the last 15, 20, inside of 30 years, let's say, and the ceramic is just that. It's like a porcelain keel. We're heating it up. Ceramics do very well with heat. It is your best bet. The only catch with ceramic pads is that they're a much harder pad and you could eat up into brake rotors. Hence, it's really important that if you have a brake squeak with these ceramic pads, get those looked at right away because you could cut into rotors and need brake rotors. Speaking of brake rotors, let's get over to the brake rotors or brake discs. Those are important, and this is what you may be getting wrong with your brake rotors. All right, take the brake rotors really serious, guys. You don't want to skimp, just like on the brake pads, spend a little bit more, because here's the secret ingredient. No, we don't got a cooking show, this is car care. Secret ingredient is the vanes in the brake rotor. This is the skeletal structure. You won't see this unless you pay close attention to these slots inside between the outboard and the inboard side of that brake rotor. Now, what's the story with the vanes? Well, on a cheaper quality, a less quality brake rotor, you're going to have less vanes. So think about a cooling fan at home, right? You're cooling yourself on, you've got a fan by your bed. If you've got 3 blades and it's 110, that's a problem. You want 5 blades because that's going to move air, and that's the whole concept behind the brake rotor. So get a quality brake rotor so that you can dissipate and move all that heat. Here's a couple of quick tips if you decide that you're going to resurface your own brake rotors. You want to make sure the brake lift is set up appropriately, but I got to tell you, more importantly, to reduce that chatter which can cause grooving in brake rotors and cause a brake grind, make sure that you've got a silencer band and the silencer device is placed in here to reduce the chatter when you resurface the rotors. Brake plates have come a long way. Certain cars, you can't pull that rotor. What comes to mind is the GMC Colorado. You need to resurface those rotors with an on-car brake plate. Make sure you check owner's manual and check with your local garage. If they've got an on-car brake plate, that's a win. All right, we talked about, to recap, number one, brake pads. If you can spend the money on the premium, spend the money. Make sure those brake pads don't have a 90-degree angle. They're beveled. That's going to eliminate some of that brake dust from causing squeaks between the pad and the rotor as it's spinning. Number two, rotors. Hello, get those rotors, people. Stop skimping on rotors. The vanes, those blades inside that rotor, make sure that they're OE original specification. If they don't have enough vanes, you're gonna saturate your brakes with heat, and that's gonna cause squeaks along with nasty pulsations. Last tip, don't get complicated. Things can be tight. While it's tight, you're doing this own project, maybe you're buying a lesser quality, an inexpensive brake pad, let's call it good. Now, they may not do well with the noise, and that's okay. You're saying to yourself, I need to stop. And as long as I can stop, I'll deal with the noise, whether that be consistent or it's a phantom squeak. Now, the fact is, the lesser quality brakes, you're gonna be using this disc brake quiet stop, stop me noise, instant stop noise, right? You're gonna put it on there. It's gonna be goopity goo on the back side, wedging in between the caliper and the rotor, and it's designed to help minimize vibrations. Think of a clarinet. Blowing through a reeded instrument creates vibration, very much the same with your brakes. Lower quality brakes that don't have all that hardware or may not have the greatest of composition, you're gonna be pulling this guy out. You guys rock. Thanks for hanging on this edition of Inside the Garage. And don't forget, subscribe, hit that alerts button. I'm here for you. And yes, I do answer every single one of your comments. It means a lot to us. And don't forget, if I've missed something, you mechanics out there, bring it down into the comments. We wanna help as many people as we can. Thanks for hanging on this edition of Inside the Garage.
So for this one, it's gonna take some skill, right? It's gonna take patience, and it's gonna take hustle, right? So you need to have hustle with this one. You gotta be hungry and you gotta have some hustle. And you have to have some passion, bro. If you don't have any passion behind you with this scenario, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to be able to build up, because the goal is to be able to buy your own camera with your own money, right? That's the goal. The goal is to be able to buy your own camera with your own money and not have to ask anybody, you know what I'm saying, for it. But that would, I guess, put you ahead. If you only had $500 and you had no camera, you could ask a relative for Christmas for a camera if you really wanted to. I know that I asked for Christmas for a camera for like 4 or 5 years straight, and I didn't get one. So maybe we in the same boat. They thought it wasn't a real career. They thought it wasn't a real job. But look where I'm at right now, gang. Sorry, I got a little personal right there. So definitely, I would say Facebook Marketplace, pawn shops, those different types of things kind of help you find gear and things that you could use for the low, right? So try to look for deals that are under $300. A lot of older DSLR cameras and some older mirrorless cameras you can find at $300. For example, I would get me a T6i. This right here, the T6i. You guys can see, is it gonna focus? Yeah, T6i, bad boy, boom, boom, boom. T6i and a T7. I would try to get one of these cameras to be able to use and work around, or you can get an A6000. But I would just get I would get a T7 personally. I would get a Canon. Yes, I shoot Sony now, I understand that, but I would get a Canon. Unless you're doing video and photo work, then get you a Sony. But if you're primarily starting over your photography business, like how I started off, right? I'm gonna get me this bad boy, and I'm gonna utilize him until I get that bread up, and then I'm gonna transition over. Best thing about pawn shops and, you know, secondhand marketplaces is you can negotiate, bro. When you're buying it from a, you know, actual camera stuff like that, is you really can't negotiate too much about anything. So when it comes to, you know, pawn shops or Facebook Marketplace, you can negotiate and talk to them and try to get that price to go down a little bit to kind of where it's at for you. Like maybe I got this much cash right now, or I'll pull up on you right now. Can I get $50 off right now? Or hey, I noticed that this listing has been up here for a year and you haven't sold it yet. Could you shave $150 off? Different stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like just network, like learn how to network and negotiate. Networking and negotiating will help you, because the person you're buying it from too might be a connect that you could talk to later. Because I've met some different people that I bought cameras from that ended up being partners or getting me booked on a wedding later on, because I would go and buy that thing, but I would still talk to them and network with them while buying that thing. Now we're getting into the hustle, the nitty gritty. What I would also do to be able to get a better camera faster, I would hustle, right? I'm starting a side hustle, I'm grinding, right? So for me, when I was starting out, I was selling candy. That's how I bought my first car. So I was selling candy and I made $3,000 to be able to buy my first car. And that's how I was able to buy my first camera and all that different type of stuff. So selling candy, able to buy my first car. From the car, I was able to do DoorDash. And I started doing DoorDash, I was able to buy my first camera. So it's like, it kind of just built up from there. So you can like sell candy, you can, make t-shirts and sell t-shirts. But what I say would be the easiest thing that's inside of the same niche or industry of photography and the creative space would be creating logos. I did logo design. When really first starting trying to help me up my skill level inside of the same industry, I would create logos for small businesses, right? I would utilize this $500, a portion of it, to get a subscription to Adobe Photoshop, and I would utilize Photoshop to the best of my ability and learn it with the free software of YouTube University, the free learning platform of YouTube University, right? To be able to help me get better at my Photoshop editing, to now I can get commissioned by people to be able to make money. And now each time I'm getting commissioned, I'm making $25 here, 50 there, whatever. And now that's all adding up for me to be able to actually get the camera that I want, which may be, an A7 III or A6700. So A7 III, A6700, or a RP would be the camera that I would be trying to really get before buying, one of these. If I really had to and I really was just trying to just get into it, or I was gifted one, or I really could, I would get me a Rebel. But if I could avoid getting a Rebel and just go to that next thing because I have, that drive and that passion and that hustle, that hunger inside of me to be able to work or do a side hustle, to be able to get enough money, to be able to, go ahead to that next point, I would take this money and I would invest it into me learning. I would invest it into me, learning how to retouch, learning how to edit into these different editing softwares, whether that be Final Cut Pro, learning how to video edit, so now I can edit videos for people to be able to get more money, to now be able to pay for and buy more gear, right? I would take that and be able to pay for these softwares or different editing softwares or the whole Adobe suite to now be able to get commissioned editing jobs to get better at editing, which is what you need in photography anyway. So now if I can get better at editing, then people will commission me to edit photos or videos or logos for them. Now when I get my camera, I'm already going to be super advanced at editing. So now I just take my own pictures and I can edit my pictures fast because I've already learned how to edit, right? So I would do that first, and I would kind of mosey my way on into the photography industry through design. So creating flyers, logos. That is, having the hustle of, a lot of people graduate and they sign to schools or colleges. You could charge like $50 per football player or $25 per football player to create some type of graphic for them, something like that. And a lot of the things on, Photoshop, you probably find templates for, different stuff like that for you to be able to make it a lot easier. Or when you create it one time, you can create a template for it, and now you can just run that through for every single person that you get booked. So now they send you photos, you make a flyer for them and send it back out to them for them to be able to use however they want when they get signed to schools, an NIL deal, get drafted, whatever it is, you can make you a little bit of bread without even having to leave your crib and without having to take your photos yourself. Because you can have a photographer that took the photos, commission you to edit it, or to commission you to edit the VFX. So you could really be hitting for real, and you could use all that and stack it up in your piggy bank to be able to buy you the camera that you want.
Here's to deserving more fangirling over sound you can feel, more.
So you can start your own business. But definitely I feel like even yet and still, you could become an employee, depending on how old you are, an employee or a photography assistant to another photographer, right? Whether you're renting out gear you're using your money to rent out gear, to use that gear to get better, right? And you become a second shooter or whatever it is with the gear that you've rented. So I've done multiple different things, man. Before I go up on a camera brand, I will rent out the camera that I want. I'll use that camera as a second shooter on somebody's wedding, or a second shooter or a main shooter somewhere, and I'll utilize and learn that camera before I buy it, right? So I'll rent it out, try it. It's fairly cheap per day. It's like $30 or $20 a day, and I'll only rent it out for like, a weekend. Only for those 2 days on the weekend, I'm using that thing top to the max. All right, so you can have a relative, if you're not old enough, rent out a camera and utilize your money to be able to rent that camera out, and now learn as much as you can and try to make some money with that camera while you have it. But I would definitely say during this time while not having a camera, I would say focus on sharpening your eye, focus on storytelling, through visuals, whether that's through your graphics or whether that's through taking photos or just seeing how people explain how they take pictures, so that way now you can start to learn before you even get your first camera. So you want to like have all this before knowledge, and when you get your camera, you're hitting the ground running. You don't want to get a camera and then start learning. Have all this background knowledge on the idea and the craft of photography, so now when you get your own camera and get your hands on that camera, you can go crazy. So just to reassure you guys, I have been there. You guys are not alone. I'm literally showing you guys my cameras right now. I got the T series Rebels. I'm showing you guys my cameras right now. Like, this is what I started off with. So this is why I keep it, to show you guys the real, the raw, and the unfiltered. All right, don't be afraid to be yourself, man. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to grow, because everyone is a student. Okay, so I started off the same way. I started off I didn't start off with the best gear. I didn't start off with the best budget. I didn't start off with the best background in photography, but I did have passion. I did have a dream, right? I did have a goal in what I wanted to create for myself and the things that I wanted to create for clientele or for others. The way that I wanted to impact other people's lives through the photos and through the things I was able to create for them, right? So yeah, but let me know down below what else you guys want to see. Let me know which scenario you're in right now at the moment. Let me know that down below in the comments, and let me know what else y'all want to know, you guys. And if you're stuck, just drop a comment down below with which situation you're in, and I'll just, give you a little personal suggestion. And if you guys want to talk to me more, you guys can join the Discord. I'm going to be in there every once in a while. I go live every single day on YouTube as well, and I'm also have a whole community of people in the Discord that can also help you too whenever I'm not available. And if you guys want one-on-one or even more further knowledge on the things behind the lens, join the Patreon down below. And yeah, until next time, taxi.
Oh, there's the cookies. Be right back.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it.